How do you recover from concussion? In this video, I'm going to teach you the 5 keys to concussion recovery so you can recover faster and get back to training and racing safely on the trails as fast as possible. Hey, it's Coach Eric here bringing you weekly training and racing tips, especially for the off-road triathlete. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Today is the second in a 3-part concussion series, so be sure to check out those other concussion videos to really increase your concussion knowledge. When I'm not training for triathlon, I am working as a neuropsychologist specially trained in the assessment and management of athletes with concussions. And I have helped thousands of athletes after concussion get back to playing their sport feeling 100%. It can be really difficult to know what to do or even what not to do after you've had a concussion to help you recover. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the 5 keys to concussion recovery to help you get back to training and racing safely on the trails as fast as possible. You already know how to identify a concussion from the first video in this series, so check out the link in the top right of your screen if you missed that and you need to go there because we're going right to the recovery process. It is a brain injury, it is serious, but a lot of people don't always treat a concussion very serious because most people look and act for the most part pretty normal. It's an individual injury, so if you're not sure on what to do with recovery, please see a concussion specialist. Alright, let's get into those 5 keys to recovery right now. Number 1, don't hit your head. I don't want to sound like Captain Obvious, but you would not believe how many people bump or hit their head again after they're already trying to recover from concussion, and it just makes it worse. So don't hit your head. If you're not sure what activities to do or not to, just keep your head safe. So for example, go for a walk rather than going and riding your bike. The chances of hitting your head while you're walking are much, much lower than hitting your head while you're out for a bike ride. Number 2, don't lock yourself in a dark room. You know, maybe for a day or two, if you're really just symptomatic and not really feeling well at all, sleep more, rest more, stay out of the light, whatever it takes. But after a couple days, even if you're not feeling 100%, you need to start integrating back into your normal routine, your normal life. Again, get recommendations from your treating providers. But, spending a week in a dark room for most people, I know for me, it would make me feel so much worse. So please don't do that. And this will take us into number 3, which is reduce everything. You're going to want to reduce physical and cognitive activity. Now for the physical side, if you take a couple days off and you're really feeling symptom-free, feeling great, then you're going to want to skip around for key number 5 here in a minute. We'll get to specific physical activity. For the cognitive activity reduction, you're really going to want to reduce computer use, phone use, driving, meetings with lots of people, multitasking are just a few examples. I didn't say that you couldn't do these things. I just said reduce them because your brain will become tired much quicker than normal when you're recovering. So if you start to feel worse while doing something, you need to stop and take a break, which takes us in to number 4. What is a break, you ask? A break is sitting in a quiet place, taking some deep breaths, focusing on your breathing. Maybe you're closing your eyes and just sitting and relaxing. Taking a break is not checking your phone, checking social media, your email, whatever the case may be. That's still cognitive activity. Again, you can still do those things, but when you take a break, you really are kind of shutting down that cognitive activity. Even if it's just for a minute or 2 or 10 or 15 minutes, that's what a break is. After concussion, I'd rather have you take a 10 to 15 minute break every hour where you're shutting down the computer, shutting down the phone, just for those 10 to 15 minutes, and then go back to it. I'd rather have you do that all day long rather than working on the computer for 2 hours straight and then say, I'm going to take a 2-hour break and do nothing. No, what happens is that you want those breaks interdispersed to help control symptoms. It helps you adjust to things and prevents hopefully symptoms from getting to the severe range. And again, this is helping you recover faster. Look, the bottom line here is that you want to resume your normal schedule as quickly as possible, but with chunking it throughout the day. Do not push. To oversimplify recovery here, you want to do some stuff that you want to do, then you take a break, then you do some more stuff if you feel better, take a break, You do some more stuff, you feel worse, then you better take a break. And so it really determines on how your body is reacting to specific things. One quick example is some people will say, I'm okay watching a movie at home, but then I went to the movie theater and I felt absolutely awful. Well, that was just more stimulation for the brain. So, wait a few days or another week and then try doing that again. But it doesn't mean you can't watch movies at home. So it really is a progression of what your brain can start to handle as it gets back to normal, both cognitively, which we've kind of talked about, and physically. And so physically is what I want to talk about for the key recovery component, number 5. You really want to start zone 1 light exercise really early in the concussion recovery process. Like I said, you might be able to take a couple of days off, but after that, start that light exercise. If you're anything like me, if I don't exercise, I'm cranky, I don't sleep as well, I might get a headache, I can't concentrate as well. That's also for concussion symptoms, but you can experience that without a concussion. So as an athlete, you're so active, get back into that light physical activity as soon as you can sort of tolerate that. If it makes it worse, you back off and stop. But a really great place to start, again, to keep yourself safe, is that exercise bike. There's no balance difficulties to worry about. You can have a very controlled environment. Start with very light exercise, no pounding, no drastic movements. Exercise bike is really the best place to start. As you progress from there, perhaps the elliptical, and maybe even some light swimming in the pool. Swim alone, so there's no one else that can possibly bump you in the head or something like that. And those are things I want you to try and see how you tolerate them. Every athlete responds to concussion a little bit differently. So for example, you might feel fine riding the exercise bike, but swimming makes you dizzy. Someone else might be able to swim just fine, but going out for a run makes them feel a worse headache. So let's break it down real quick by sport. So swimming. Start off by easy swimming. That may feel fine, but perhaps flip turns doesn't feel very good. So does that mean you can't swim at all? Not necessarily. If swimming at a low intensity feels fine, then just don't flip turn at first. And as you progress through, you increase the duration, the intensity, and then even the complexity of the movement. So perhaps integrating some flip turns would be at the very end of the process when you feel recovered. As far as biking, I would really stay off the mountain trails, off the roads. Stay on that exercise trainer where you're safer. Increase the duration there, increase the intensity there. That way you're not stuck out on some remote trail somewhere feeling dizzy and headache because you pushed it too hard. We want to find that out, that you're not recovered in a more controlled environment. And then finally, the running. That pounding can really increase some symptoms. So, trying that elliptical, even a stair climber, and then as that starts to feel better with intensity, go out for an easier run or shorter run, and progress from there. And again, depending on how you feel, you may end up having to do a certain training block. Talk to your coach, talk to your physician, because you may be able to do a lot of cycling on the trainer, really high intensity, but even swimming easy makes you feel dizzy. So really evaluate each of the sports, including some strength training. That may affect you in different ways as well. So you want to look at each of those individually based on how you're feeling, but just try them in a low intensity, make sure your head's safe, and progress from there. All right, so those are the 5 keys to concussion recovery. So if you or a fellow triathlete gets a concussion, you know what to look for and how to best get on that road to recovery. So I hope this video was helpful for you. It'd be really great if you could communicate in the comments below, share with the community what really was the key to your concussion recovery. Be sure to check out the other 2 concussion videos in this series. Hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos. And until the next one, I will see you on the trails.